First and foremost, congratulations to the Indianapolis Colts getting their first victory in 15 years against the Pittsburgh Steelers. I wish I could have found my Peyton Manning jersey so I could celebrate and commemorate the Colts on this magnificent victory. Now, first and foremost, as it pertains to the Pittsburgh Steelers, let me say this right now. As long as Mitch Trubisky and Mason Rudolph is taking snaps for the Pittsburgh Steelers for the remainder of this season and any season moving forward, I am no longer a Pittsburgh Steelers fan. I am everything against the Pittsburgh Steelers as long as those two quarterbacks are taking snaps for Pittsburgh. And let me tell you exactly why. Mitch Trubisky has shown absolutely nothing as to why he should be a starting quarterback in the NFL, let alone a backup quarterback in the NFL. What has this man done? What in the resume has shown you to say this man should be employed? He should be on unemployment next to me. Moreover, Mason Rudolph been in Pittsburgh's organization for what now, 5 years? What has he done to sustain the job? Nothing. And Mike Tomlin seems to think it's a good idea to go trot Mason out there with 2 minutes left to play. You should have did that at halftime. Everybody and their mama knows Mitch Trubisky doesn't have what it takes to win a football game. Let's go and rewind throughout the entire doggone game. We start out the game with a 13-0 lead. Furthermore, when we had ourselves inside the red zone, right? Mitch Trubisky just so happened to throw a touchdown to Deontay Johnson. But why are we lining up in shotgun on the 1 yard line? Remember when Todd Haley got fired? He was the best offensive coordinator that we had since Bruce Arians. But you know why he got fired? Due to red zone inefficiency. A lot of people look back now, have a little bit of revisionist history, can't seem to remember why we fired Todd Haley, why Big Ben wanted him to fuck up out of there, why Steeler Nation wanted to have him out of there, despite the fact that our offense was putting up the best numbers we ever had in franchise history. Because when we got into the red zone, we no longer understood how to put the ball in the end zone. We were running fucking jet sweeps like it was fucking Matt Canada 7 years early. We were out here lining up in shotgun from the 1 yard line. It made no sense whatsoever. And what do? We found ourselves inside the red zone on 2 different occasions, despite the fact that we ended up with touchdowns. It made no sense why we decided to go out there and make it a fucking head scratcher when we line up and we have formations inside the red zone. Furthermore, we up 13-0, right? You would think a 2-possession lead for Pittsburgh would be something substantial to where our defense can pin their ears back and start to let motherfuckers have it. Oh no, not the Pittsburgh Steelers defense of the 2020s. We give up gasher plays left and right. TJ Watt's the only motherfucker on defense who actually can make plays. Micah Fitzpatrick tries to make plays, but unfortunately his body is the enemy of himself this year. And get well soon, brother, because you're one of the very few Pittsburgh Steelers we happen to have on this squad. Despite the fact that everybody happens to wear the jersey, they have the logo on the side of the doggone helmet. Their name is on the depth chart. Not everybody on this roster is a Pittsburgh Steeler. On defense, we've got about 4. And I would argue, maybe 3. TJ, Minka, Cameron Hayward, and Alex Highsmith. Everybody else, you're very expendable because you don't make the plays necessary to call yourself a Pittsburgh Steeler. You couldn't play in any era with this football team. Offensively, we are atrocious. Najee Harris had a couple of good promising runs, but then what happens? Put the ball on the ground. All of a sudden now, we ain't got that burst no more. Deontay Johnson, couple catches here and there. George Pickens, couple catches here and there. But guess what happened? The moment that goings got tough, all of a sudden the morale is down here. Dudes don't want to run routes. Dudes don't want to block nobody. Dudes don't want to have no form of enthusiasm whatsoever. We happen to be trying to move the football down the field in crunch time. 3rd down, Pat Fryer moved wide open in his own area code. Surrounded, the Colts are on the outside. It's as if they're behind a motherfucking moat. If they was protected around a castle, the goddamn defense would have to go over water in order to get to him. You know what Mitch Trubisky does? Throws it behind him. Again, I ask you, what has Mitch Trubisky done to be a starting quarterback, let alone a backup quarterback in the NFL? And last but not least, Tomlin. I don't want to see you on sidelines no more. Brandon Staley got fired after the Thursday night performance from the Las Vegas Raiders taking on the Los Angeles Chargers, and he got cooked so bad he couldn't keep his job following that L. I would like to see the same thing happen for Mike Tomlin. Listen, I love Mike Tomlin, I do, but it's time to move on. Last 7 seasons, we haven't had a playoff win. Moreover, we haven't had a competitive team since 2018. And we choked that season away in December. As far as I'm concerned, this Pittsburgh Steelers culture does not exist. I talked about it in the past, and it's time for a change. Get everybody the fuck up out of here. Why is it that the Cleveland Browns, the cultureless Cleveland Browns of the 2020s, of the fucking 21st century, can go out there and get 4 W's with 4 different starting quarterbacks? Oh, but we can't make a change internally because we believe in our guys. No. It's time to believe what our eyes see. And that's that Mason Rudolph and Mitch Trubisky are absolute trash. Go pick somebody up off the goddamn streets. There are individuals inside of caskets right now who can play the quarterback position better than Mitch Trubisky and Mason Rudolph. We only seen 2 minutes of Mason Rudolph, and I'm still disgusted. Ain't nothing changed about whack-a-mole. Go call up anybody who's available right now. Matt Ryan, would you like to play quarterback for the Pittsburgh Steelers? Carson Wentz, would you like to leave Los Angeles? Call up somebody, do some sort of, colluding behind the scenes, a little bit of tampering, have him get fired so you can sign somebody. I'd rather have has-beens on my squad leading the team than have never was. Because what we have at quarterback is absolutely atrocious. Our offense is a pain to watch. It feels as if I am dying slowly. Goddamn terminal cancer is on the marquee every single time the Pittsburgh Steelers take the field. Have you no shame? Have you no shame? Every single week it's the exact same thing. There's no confidence whatsoever. There's no passion. There's no vision. There's no consistency. There's no sort of any kind of aggression. There's no goddamn pride in this football team whatsoever. And week by week, you have the audacity to take the field and have the Pittsburgh Steelers logo not only on your chest, but on your helmet. For shame. You should go out there logoless. You should go out there colorless. Remember a couple years ago, nameless gray faces? That's the Pittsburgh Steelers. There is no culture. There is no history with this football team, none whatsoever. You should be ashamed of yourself every time you happen to affiliate yourself with the legendary franchise that just so happens to be the Pittsburgh Steelers. You don't qualify. As far as I'm concerned, you're from a little town in Pittsburgh named some shit that ain't nobody go to. There should be no smiles, no social media posts, nothing whatsoever. You haven't earned the right, let alone deserve the right for anybody to celebrate you whatsoever. If I was the owner of this team, I'm holding game checks. You just played for free. In fact, those kinds of performances over the course of the past 3 weeks, you owe us money. All the fans who ever paid a ticket to go see this football team play this season, years past, since the 2020s and since began, I would like them to not only be refunded, but also reimbursed for wasting their money to go see this ball club. And I mean that from the bottom of my soul. So moving forward, as long as Mitch Trubisky, Mason Rudolph, and Mike Tomlin is on the sidelines and or on the field, I am cheering for everybody but the Pittsburgh Steelers. Yeah, you heard that right. The remaining 3 weeks of this season, go Seahawks, go Bengals, go Ravens. You heard that right. Go Bengals, go Ravens, go Seahawks. Because it seems as if maybe if it's a losing season enough to change the culture around here, I am all for it. I am the #1 person who has stood on my square since my inception to say I am not for tanking. But you know what? Maybe that might just have to be the move. Maybe losing has to happen in order for the Rooney family to say, you know what? It's time for a change. This stability that you just so happen to have over the course of the past 5 decades, yeah, that don't work no more. That don't work no more. It's time for a change. And Tomlin, it's time to go. Halftime. They say, yo, what's going on with your offense? You can't seem to generate any kinds of drives or put points on the board. You guys looking stagnant. This man talking about we don't got enough possessions. Excuse me? Excuse me? Let's keep it 100% real. Does anybody want to see more possessions of the Pittsburgh Steelers offense? The Pittsburgh Steelers offense is so terrible. Every time they take the field, Steelers fans look away. Imagine that. In today's NFL, when the offense is supposed to be the cash cow that everybody's going to tune in for, nobody wants to see the Steelers offense. There's many different things that you can do than watch the Pittsburgh Steelers offense. You can light a house on fire by accident. You can go and crash your car, fender bender, perhaps get involved in a homicide. Those things are more exciting and more fulfilling than watching the Pittsburgh Steelers play football. I feel as if I am cutting myself watching this football team take the field every single week. That's how we feel. And I speak for every Pittsburgh Steelers fan. It sounds brutal, it sounds harsh, it sounds off-putting, it sounds out of line, but it's the reality of the situation. Because we are absolute trash and the laughingstock of the NFL. The Carolina Panthers have the worst record, but somehow the Pittsburgh Steelers are the worst football team in the league. How does that feel? How does that feel? The only positive in the season is TJ Watt leading the league in sacks. And guess what? It don't mean nothing. That's what we are now. We're the individualistic, statistic-chasing team. Something's got to change, and it doesn't seem as if it's going to happen in the midst of this season. So as far as we're concerned, moving forward, I am anti-Pittsburgh Steelers until you earn the right for myself and the remainder of Steeler Nation to even twirl our terrible top. Because you're on the outs. Directly to you, Tomlin. This is you. This is the culture that you set. Mediocrity. Never had a losing season. Congratulations. What do we have to show for it? Haven't had a contending team in 6 years. Haven't gone to a Super Bowl in 13. Haven't won one in 15. And you comfortable? Get used to the gray hairs on your face. You're going to need all kinds of just for men. Because by the end of this season, you will be unemployed and be looking for work. I don't give a damn how hard it is to go find a head coach. I'll endure 5 seasons of straight up being the bottom of the barrel. At least I know I'm trash. Than to personally put myself there. Because that's what the Pittsburgh Steelers are. We're self-induced trash. All kinds of potential, but we always fall short. We're the guys who say, I think I can, but never actually put in the effort to go out there and actually attempt to do it. That's us. Garbage. So, we're going to put our hands up in unison and say, Steelers on 3, trash on 6. 1, 2, 3 Steelers. 4, 5, 6, trash. You ought to be ashamed of yourself. In fact, take the banner down. Because y'all don't deserve nobody to cheer for y'all. Pathetic. Are you somebody who always wanted to start a YouTube channel, or you already started one but not too sure how to grow it? I just dropped my very first ebook, Commit to the Commitment of Consistency, How to Build and Create a Profitable YouTube Channel, where I give you the exact framework that I use over the course of the past 8 years to build my YouTube channel from 0 to 720,000+ subscribers. So click the link in my description, go to chiseledadonishop.com and grab your ebook so you can learn how to create your profitable YouTube channel today.